Hey, sugar. Donnell, come look at this one.
Damn! That is one fine piece of man.
Ooh, and he's tall.
He tall? In my head, if he tall, you know he's got a big mm-hmm.
You ever wonder about self-love? You ever wonder how to achieve self-love when you're living in a world full of images that tell you to do the exact opposite? Yeah, me think about them things there, you know? I love you to be, no you're lying to me. I love you to be, no you're lying to me. How could you love me and treat me this way? These old habits die hard at the end of the day. At the end of the day. At the end of the day.
That must look good.
At the end of the day.
5 centuries and they still line the streets just for a look. They rush in by the thousands. Think, I used to be just a little farm boy peacefully tending my sheep. They said, and I quote, "He is ruddy and handsome." And that's all she wrote.
I woke up this morning, saw you staring at me in the mirror, and you didn't greet me, didn't say hi. Tell me why. You turned your head and started to cry. Tell me why, Dippy. You can't look me in the eye. You don't love me. You don't love me. Tell me, Debbie, what have you been told? What have they sold you, Debbie? What have you been told? Don't believe them, Debbie. Don't believe what they say. These old habits die hard at the end of the day. At the end of the day. At the end of the day.
Hey, Coco, this one's got a big ass.
More cushion for the pushing, sweetheart. Ooh, let me take a picture, put it on my Facebook. My new boy toy.
No way, girl.
Men are like wine, Donnell. They get better with age.
Not me. Give him to me young and hung.
Good luck finding one you can talk to.
Slim pickings, Coco. Looks like I'm gonna die alone. Let me tell you what really happened. 5 centuries ago, a marble block was excavated from Carrara for the creation of the world's newest masterpiece, David. This ruddy, handsome teenager who single-handedly defeated the most notorious villain of his time without laying a finger on him. The truth is, David was the youngest of 7 sons, all of whom were brought before King Saul for inspection. Eliab was too fat, Shammah wasn't fat enough, Abinadab was a queer, Nathaniel had chicken legs, and Ozem was a ginger. Now that is one fucked up gene pool. But David, the youngest, the golden boy, he overcame all the odds and is an inspiration to us all.
I feel like it has a huge impact on everybody. The way you perform masculinity puts you in different places completely. Like, looking a certain way and acting a certain way at the right time can change whether you're at a certain job, a certain position, a certain pay. It all depends. Sometimes you gotta play it up. Like, sometimes you have to be very, I have to act very sexual. I have to act very like flirty with people. I have to try and be like, I have to be that person who's just all very like, oh, Mr. Suave. And it'll get me to another position that I need to be at. Sometimes I have to be very reserved, very quiet, and so people don't think I'm some like sex hound, and they can give me credit. It depends, like your body says everything, and people would judge off of that. I try to think that in a perfect world, in our social work world, in class, that people won't do that. But as soon as I walk out, people will look at me and then have a certain idea of what I look like, what I'm gonna do, how I'm gonna act, who I'm gonna be with, what I'm gonna say. So all I can do is try and look at the person and try and talk and try and judge the situation to act how I'm supposed to act accordingly. And it's frustrating. It's very frustrating.
I definitely dislike the fact that men are pressured into showing a limited amount of emotion, if not any emotion. And that's never worked for me because I'm a very emotional person. I like to express myself, whether I'm happy, whether I'm sad, whether I'm angry. And there's always been like this feeling growing up, even today at 23 years old, that I'm not supposed to show a great deal of emotion, that I'm supposed to be stone-faced, that I'm supposed to meet challenges just head on and not express myself almost in any way. And I've never liked that.
As a man, I'm supposed to be completely rock hard. So like, I don't know, it is demasculating to be in that situation where you trust someone, particularly a female, and that they hurt you.
What I dislike about being male is, you know, as much as the patriarchy sort of gives you all these privileges for your maleness, right? You know, like the not being, you know, sexually, or not having to worry about that. I feel like it also punishes people who defy it, you know, and males who don't act towards, you know, this idea of maleness. So, you know, if I'm not constantly acting male, if I'm not constantly doing sort of male things like, you know, doing sports or playing sports or, you know, whatever else, then, you know, it's almost like I feel like I'm being punished for it.
The impact for me personally is it results in insecurity. Because I know that I don't fulfill that idealistic image of what a man is by society standards, I feel very insecure. It's like you're always looking over your shoulder to try and find out if something is perfect or if something is correct. So there are times when I can be very critical of myself, the way I stand, the way I walk, the way I carry myself, and it's increasingly difficult also because I'm short, I'm nearsighted. Some things that may be stereotypically seen as weak, those make me very self-conscious, the way my voice sounds. So for me, it makes me it can at times make me very insecure about myself as a person.
The impact of having to perform masculinity on me is becoming very conscious of the fact that there's this whole theme of duality in my life, in the way I've lived my life and in the past, and struggling between the person that I am and the perception of who I am, or the performance of who I am. And, you know, I find that in a lot of different pop culture, music, films that I've liked, that's a theme that kind of falls throughout, this performance piece around that. You start to lose yourself in this idea of who am I really when you're between these two different altered states and two different versions where, you know, you see your friends and male friends who are one way in private and another way in public, and you recognize that within yourself too. And it's about trying to center yourself and being authentic and centered all the time. And when the performance of masculinity is kind of the theme that you have to run through your whole life, you start to really struggle with having a sense of who you are. That's why a lot of men can lead double lives. And when it comes to issues of cheating or being true, honest with others, they're not doing that with themselves.
You know what I hate about being male, it's just that, you know, that box, right? So if you're not in this box of what, you know, is essentially constitute maleness, you're sort of shunned and rejected for it.
I try to become what is stereotypically like an alpha male, like a stereotypical male. Like I work out, I play sports, I have like a girlfriend, what else? I don't know, like I can be that guy. I can be like the stereotypical jock. And the thing is, that position gives me credibility when we're talking amongst men.
I feel like as a man, I'm supposed to have like that domineering quality, which I know that I don't. But as a result of that, I feel the need to be vocal, to be sometimes loud, whether it be at work, whether it be at school. Sometimes it's successful, sometimes people take notice, sometimes other people just go, oh no, we don't want to hear you talk, go away.
I wish I could say that, you know, I'm like above it and I'm like, you know, I don't give a crap what people think about me, but unfortunately, I guess I do.
I guess the worst one, or the one that feels most uncomfortable to me, is that I'll not be very friendly. That's the main difference I felt from transitioning from female, is that I'm very smiley and friendly to people, and that's where I feel sort of policed the most compared to before, because I've noticed, like a lot of guys don't do that. They don't smile a lot, and they're always kind of distanced from people more than I felt was expected from me before. So that's the main thing I don't like about it.
For me, I think I was talking about different pop culture pieces and iconic figures, and Batman is one. As just at the top of my head, there's this character, Bruce Wayne, and then there's his alter ego, Batman, and it's this prescribed version of himself to kind of remedy and solve different situations, not just within the city, but within himself, and with loss of his parents and struggling with revenge and anger. And a lot of these ideas of superheroes are these alter egos. And it's so interesting because as men, you're kind of pushed to be this kind of hero, this masculine warrior. And what that means is to be this kind of alternate version of yourself versus being the real you, and having to go back and forth between that, where people recognize or praise or fear this version of you that's not the real self. And we celebrate that in society. So it's hard to kind of even recognize that, wait a minute, this is a really flawed way to be a human being.
You can cross over, right? You can be male, you can cross over into female, and, vice versa. There's all this overlap, and you can move back and forth freely, like, as much as you want. And we just really need to, it's the binary, right? We need to break that, I think.
And you gotta perform a certain way to try and win their approval. It's either you're really strong, you fight, you have a lot of money, drive a nice car, or you get a lot of women, or you can talk to women. And if you can do that, somewhere in this twisted, it's like escalator ladder of what it is to be a man, that puts you somewhere, and you can build off of that.
I perform my masculinity by dressing male. You know what I mean? I think that's a really interesting question, because I do feel it is a performance. So there's actually this great quote by who else but like RuPaul, where she says, you're born naked, everything else is drag. So, this is a role that I'm playing, right? This is my drag, you know what I mean? And I'm not necessarily done up, but I'm still playing a role. This is still drag that's going on here.
When you tell her that she don't look like a woman, she being me, the queen of androgyny. I put a hole in your old philosophy. Patriarchy, in a fit your paradigm. But sorry, me inclined to follow me own mind, cause I'm an individual. Shave my head once a week, and me eyebrow me no tweak, me no wear no lipstick, and I no makeup. And then you see me walk by, me I look kinda fly. Can't looking at me guy, don't know if I'm a guy. Gender bender, schooling pretenders, defenders of the box, trap call man. Gender bender have a feminist agenda and shackle woman oppression. Years of socialization, shit like girl wear pink, boy wear blue, boy play sport, girl play house, girl get Barbie, boy get the fire truck. Gender is a social construct. We tell her that she must climb tree. We tell him say dry him a yai. We tell her say to close our legs. You tell him say boys don't cry. You tell her say to please our man. You tell him say woman dead if you please man. Gender bender, schooling pretenders, unlearning British colonization. Gender bender, urging the sisters, redefine your womanist position. To all weirdos, people who be responsibly different. Is she, transvestite, transgender, queer, gay, bi, lesbian, straight, drag king, drag queen. To all people raising their children outside of gender norms, tell them she's a boy, tell them she's a girl, and let them both play with dolls. To all chichi man, mama man, sodomite, butch dyke, malecon, femme. To all cross-dressers, women who are fathers, men who are mothers, everybody in between. To people who don't assume when they meet me that I'm a boy because I shave my head. My clothes are man say me